Good afternoon, everyone. Alumna. My name is Melinda Thet Tun, and it's my privilege to welcome you to the program today as an alumni of the Diplomacy Training Program at the University of New South Wales. I actually first participated in this program in 2007 and then the subsequent program in 2008. So looking back on it now, it's been over a decade and I do feel very old. I don't know how Patrick feels, but when we first started in 2007, the world of human rights advocacy and campaigning was very new to me, as it may be for some of you today. But we started the program actually immediately after the Saffron Revolution. So many of you may remember the Punji Ayekin that happened in Myanmar. There were shocking images of violence and oppression that was coming out in the international media. And I was a young university graduate living in Sydney, and I quickly realized how little the world knew about the plight of people living in Myanmar. And back in those days, there was no easy access to the internet or to the mobile phones, and communications with anyone on the ground in Myanmar was virtually impossible. And to most of the world, the people in Myanmar was a large and silent group of people. So it became very evident to many of us outside the country that we needed to help raise awareness and put Myanmar on the agenda for the world, including to the media and to the highest political institutions. And this is where, of course, the Diplomacy Training Program came up with a special course on human rights advocacy for Myanmar community members in Australia in 2007. And that was my first time learning and practicing really the key skills that are involved in advocating and promoting human rights and political lobbying. The program covered many important theoretical frameworks, which you will also cover, but more importantly, it also covered some of the practical skills. In fact, many of the practical skills required for ordinary people like us to speak up and advocate for vulnerable communities who live under a very violent and repressive regime, as they do today. And for many of us, it was doing the program, it was, it really empowered us, and I think really allowed us to sort of live up to the very famous quote of Aung San Suu Kyi, which is really to use your freedom to promote ours, right? It was a chance for many of us living outside the country to use our freedom to promote those people inside the country for whom who had no access to media and to many of the political advocacy channels that we have. So beyond the theory and the practical skills, of course, the program also gave us an opportunity to learn from the fellow participants, and including people from very diverse backgrounds and experiences. And actually, for many of you, this may be one of the most rewarding aspects of the program. For me personally, it was. And the DTP programs that I did in 2007 and 2008, I still have, I'm still friends with many of the people on the program today. I think there's Eugene and maybe there may be a few others. So we all did the program together. And my hope is also that you'll make lifelong friends on this program, and people who can share the joys and the triumphs, as well as the challenges of promoting human rights for a country as complex as Myanmar. And I think, I hope that your course conveners and your fellow participants will push you and challenge you to think more deeply about how to strengthen the situation in Myanmar, how to support it, as well as the challenges that are facing the country, not just now, but in the future. And I hope you would also learn how critical some of these concepts that are covered in the program are for building the democratic fabric of the society, and really how they act as insurance policies for the future of Myanmar. So, the concepts such as, protecting fundamental human rights, protecting minority rights, having a free and independent media, having very vibrant and outspoken civil society organizations. These are all basic fundamental tenements of having a free and democratic society, and really looking beyond, the current levels of violence and armed struggle that currently dictate the news on Myanmar today. These are the very principles, these principles that you will learn on human rights and you know, protecting and using protecting rights, using the media, pushing for, you know, advocating for key protections and key freedoms. These are the very principles that would support the country's transition to a true federal democracy one day. So supporting and strengthening those principles is our collective responsibility as Myanmar people, both inside and outside the country. And as the events of this year will show, this, you know, promoting and advocating these principles really is a lifelong task, and we can't ever afford to let our guards down. So we have a long way to go still, but I hope this program and the friends you'll make on it will be an important milestone as we progress and as you progress on the journey. So please feel free to reach out to any of us on the steering committee anytime if you want to connect or to chat about anything. On behalf of the steering committee, I wish you a very fulfilling and rewarding few weeks ahead, and welcome to the Myanmar Diaspora Human Rights Advocacy and Capacity Building Program. Thank you.